Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I'm George, and today I, I, okay, I kinda always end up making a Saturday video of some sort, maybe to break how do I say, the monotony a little, the routine, to break the routine, and to do something else. Or almost something else. Because today I realized that most of the stuff that I wrote down, I didn't really explain them in my life. So I think today we're gonna just explain them really quickly. From chapter 5 to chapter 10, the ones that I did this week. And then, I don't know, we're gonna play Minecraft or maybe we're gonna make a Magic the Gathering deck. So let me see. Tac. Okay, yes, yes. Up. So we are here. Just a second, I'm gonna test the chat. Ah, okay, there is the ding. Nice. I don't know what happened, but 2 days ago the ding was turned off, like completely. I could not even turn it on. Hmm. Damn, nice drawings, bro. I'm gonna say it to myself so I don't feel bad. Damn, we have a lot to cover, really quickly at least, or quickly as it is allowed. Yeah. Okay, from here. So the first one of this week was the camera. We already, I, all of the previous chapters were already covered in the first video of game design study sessions. So if you missed, go check it out. So we're gonna continue from here. So cameras. Of course, these are just quick notes, and I know they look silly. So let's just let's trust me, okay? So the first thing is that player hate bad cameras. Nobody likes when the camera is moving strangely, jaggedly, I think, because it breaks the immersion, something important. There are a lot of types of camera. There is the fixed camera. The fixed camera, I think it's like, there is only this position, you cannot change it. Most of the fixed camera, I think, or is like, I think it's like the first Resident Evil games. Those I think were fixed camera, they couldn't move. Other examples of a fixed camera, let me think about it. Uh, I don't remember. There is also the scrolling camera. These are like probably games that are like Metrovania style from like where you move left, right, and where the moves accordingly. Again, a recent example is Blasphemous, Metroid, or Hollow Knight. I think those can be good examples. Yeah. There is the gold mode, that is basically the view that like almost of an entire field, like miles and miles of fields where you, how do I say, sort and control a little civilization, like the game Civilization. The isometric one, it's how do I say? It's kind of a strange view because it's like portraying a 3D plane in a 2D one. So it's kind of strange, but it has its own style. Mostly you're gonna see this in pixelated games, but there is also an option in the game in 3D game engines to change into the isometric view. But it really depends if that is the style that you wanna go with. So be careful. And then there is AR, that is basically advanced reality, where the camera is a device that you have in real life. Simple said, Pokemon Go. But also there was the Last of Us, not The Last of Us, The Walking Dead that had a game similar like this. Oh, sorry, 2 second break. I know I just started, sorry. So sorry, apparently I didn't. Okay, I'm gonna just explain it again. So, what I was doing was the speed of your camera is important, so it's important to tune it for acceleration and deceleration. Usually, all the camera kind of work the same in games. You want to be sure that they work and they follow the character. So they will have an option for acceleration, deceleration to make the movement seem natural. Like this is a lot of filmmaking stuff also. What I was talking now was a quick tip for game developers that I saw work. Maybe you guys already knew about this stuff, but in case, I'm gonna just explain it. What I found useful was to like, okay, I'm gonna delete it and explain it again, okay? Just because I'm not a teacher, but maybe like this I can understand to what I'm. Okay, just put the computer in charge. All right. What I was explaining was that in Unity or Godot, in Godot they are called scene, but or in Unity are called vector. If you leave it like empty, they are considered vectors. In Unity was objects, sorry. They are considered vectors if they are empty. If you add a vector here, then you add another vector that is a sub-vector of this object, sub-object of the object. You have like this line. What do I say? Yeah, like you have the first line, and then you add another object. This time is the camera, like this, and then you put it like a sub-object of this vector. This is vector 1, this is vector 2. I hope they are called vector, yes. And then there is the camera. I see that doing like this, it's a lot similar to how cinema do like recording stuff, because if you like move this vector, rotate this vector, sorry, like this, the camera will go forward. If you rotate the camera like this on the second vector, the camera go up. I think this helps with having different shots and also a kind of movement around the first vector that usually, you know, the first vector also is known as the player character. I know, right? Crazy. So, so yeah, that's the theory behind how to work with camera. I don't know if there is also a third arm. I'm gonna check really quickly. Camera, cinema, just to be sure. Okay, maybe it's not really similar. Probably what I mean is like cameras that are for action films where you have to be pretty on top, like on elevation. Maybe, I don't know. Oh well, we can leave it. But that's the kind of idea. Now, if you want to really go crazy, but usually you just need 1, 2, and 3. If you wanna go crazy, but maybe it's kind of useless, you can add other arms like these. But like you can make this vector 1 and then change in 2 and 3. But they are kind of useless. Like you don't add really much with another vector. It's important to just have an arm. This arm really just carry everything else. So that's the idea behind how cams should work in games. From my understanding, by the way, from my understanding, I'm not an expert by any means. uh, then there is kind of, how do I say, another types of cameras like parallax scrolling. Basically, the world moves around you and not around the player. So basically, the character is at the center, and then is the world that is moving. I'm not really sure about how this one works. I don't know if it's a thing for optimization or I don't know, but just know that it exists is an option to just have the player character in the middle and just the world moving. I don't know what kind of an advantage that will give, so we're gonna move on. For scrolling, the camera keeps moving and the player must catch up. This one has an advantage, more about the gameplay and cinematic, because like in the example of Crash Bandicoot, that he must outrun the boulder. It's about the tension. It's about okay, I should not go to back, and basically you want to be on as near as possible to the camera, so it's also a gameplay thing. Yeah. Then there is Mod 7, that is a kind of what they have done to a technology of the time, where uh, I'm just gonna read Mod 7 used in Super Mario. It's when you translate to the art in 3D environment. So basically, to also maybe optimize a little, the character were just 2D sprites. These 2D sprites were put in a 3D environment. And basically, that's it. So also a lot of the background stuff it's sorry it's basically 3D. I think where they were the first what do I say? I don't remember the name. Not it's not Hood. It's like Skybox. I think they were the first Skybox where you can move through them, but they are like infinitely you cannot reach them. That's it. So yeah, that's just a mode for the camera. I think it has something in common also with the parallel scrolling, but I'm not sure. I'm just gonna keep this one for me. So first person camera. As you can see, I just imported the image of the, what do I say, the book, because I was kind of lazy. I didn't want to write it down. So advantage: aiming in first person is easier. Players view their character as a self, allowing for a greater immersion in the world. Creating atmospheric situation like horror is easier. Players get a close look at a weapon, world object, and a puzzle item. Alright. Problems: gauging jump and movement distance is hard, because in first person you kinda have a greater immersion, but you don't have a greater control on your movement. Like you cannot do all the stunts that let me think. I don't know, Super Mario maybe doing with all the backflips, front flips. It's kind of hard to do that. Mirror Edge kind of has done it though. Like I played Mirror Edge Catalyst, nice game, and they had the parkour in first person, so it's not impossible, but I don't know. Players can see their character and can lose emotional connection. Players do not always look where the trigger wants them to look. The designer wants them to look, sorry. And game objects like pickups have to be exaggerated in scale to compensate for distance. Alright, this is the idea. Also, other tips for the first person. Blood splatter, be careful of using effect, it can be annoying. Basically, a lot of effects on the camera, it's kind of to be taken with just the tip of the fingers, like salt, because you have to be careful to give a good experience and still have a good visual to know what's happening, and not just, okay, blow effects. You can add effects like raindrop, mist, lens, flare, camera effect caused by weathers. You can add predatory vision, basically high-tech filter. Remember to give it an utility. don't just for cool stuff, give it also an utility. And also other effects that you can give to cameras are blurry, drugged, and poisoned. They are useful for immersion, but as the same for blood splatter here, you kinda have to be careful to don't overuse them. Other are third-person camera. Camera movement, you have to give your camera space to maneuver. The most common type you can find in this case is the follow cam. So yeah, Basic, basically sometimes the camera have a better experience in open fields. So you in the moment your camera will be inside a closed space, it will be pretty interesting to code because you will have to how do I say spend more time on it. Let's just say. In fact, the next problem is sorting. Be careful the camera doesn't break out of the boundaries or the immersion of the player, uh, or the immersion the player will broke. Okay, will suffer. Okay. Suggestion: make the usually make the decorative object translucent, but the wall still needs to be solid. So a lot of stuff like the statue right here, the table, should be like not colliding with the camera. And when the camera goes through them, they should like become transparent. The only thing that should make solid are like huge environment objects like the walls. I don't know what else can be. Yeah, basically the containment box in this case. It should be like okay, you stay inside theoretically. Also, position can position the camera can behind the player can be tricky, and there are many different ways to do it. Find what works for your game. I mean, you can also have the character on the slightly on the left and do stuff. You can have it on slightly on top, like GTA. There are different ways. Also, one problem of this the sorting thing is I hope that it doesn't break and the collides works because if it happens that it goes to a corner, it might clip out and yeah, the immersion is broken. So be aware of that. Obstruction: keep the camera away from objects that block the view of the character. I'm not sure how you can do something like this apart from making the object itself transparent, translucent. So yeah, it's gonna be a problem of itself. Control and camera flipping. Try every range the camera can go and see how it behaves. You may happen to stumble on the camera flipping problem. A way to tackle this is when oh my god. This. Okay, so a way to tackle this is when the camera hits a wall or a corner. A way to tackle this is when the camera hits a wall or a corner, make it go up. But be careful, the camera might flip over the top of the character. Yeah, it depends. Sometimes you wanna kinda block. What do I say? Just a second. Oh no. Okay. So sometimes you guys want to block, like there is in case your camera is free, it can be controlled with the what was the left stick. Yeah, what was it? You like want this to be a dead area. This one on top. Like no, because sometimes if the camera is super free, it may go like and it will be like what do I say? On the a different, when how do I say, you play like space game and the camera is totally free, it will like be with the belly up. So you're gonna see the character inverted or the entire world inverted. So this is also something to take consideration of. Also, usually the camera go up because if the camera go down, will be obstructed by objects and terrain. So usually the camera will always go up to take a better look of the character and what he's doing. Now there are two different things, like giving the control of the camera to the player or letting just the designer have it. I mean, I wrote the game have control of the camera, but it's mostly the director vision of how the character should be, how the camera should behave. Like, if the player has control of a camera, they can choose where they want to look, and they can switch to first person mode, like to get a closer look of something. Usually you do this by pressing a button. I think Resident Evil 4 has this, like where you get a closer look and you go back to first and third person as you want. And they can, sorry, and they can selective control like sniper mode. Another thing they can do is like take a super close look at an object, like I don't know, a diamond or a paper sheet, and rotate it. That should be like something like sniper mode, I think, or maybe when you have a weapon like a sniper. That's the idea. But if you take out the controller from a player and give it just to the game, like only the game has the controller how the camera will work, the player doesn't have to worry about the camera or camera getting stuck. It will be all scripted down. You can optimize the art direction only where the camera is pointing at. So if the camera is pointing forward and it cannot rotate backwards, you don't usually paint the stuff on the back. If the player gonna see only that, you will always just be happy doing half of the job. It's also useful to make the speed of the process of making a game faster. A lot of like game stuff or yeah, game stuff, 3D stuff is a lot about the illusion, like illusion that everything is done, but sometimes not. Like you probably, how do I say, like in a field in a game in a field in a game, like you expect, oh, this is open world. No, it isn't. It isn't open world. It's a very huge area. But how do I say? The moment you kind of arrive at the border, you're gonna see the void down on you. So yeah, that will break the immersion kinda because it's usually what it does. So a lot of the technical art stuff is about giving the illusion to a player that the world is complete or real. So they will kind of use every trick possible to speed up the process. And it's not really a bad thing, it's actually a good thing, more so if the player will not notice it, because that's the main plan. So yeah. Then there is you can make a roller coaster type of camera. What I mean by that is like the camera will follow you on a precise path, like where every possible problem is already controlled because the camera is still fixed, but it will follow you on a path, like the path that AI creates for the enemies that they can follow. Of course, you can also have creative control of the shots, like if we keep in mind the roller coaster type of camera. Sometimes the camera will just make you look at the, how do I say, at like the next objective that you like have to achieve. Yeah. So you're just walking, and then the camera just slightly goes to the left to show you your next objective. That's the idea. Make the player aware of the environment. Sometimes some stuff it's kinda hidden. So I mean, maybe some secrets of a collectible is kinda hard to see. So you as a game designer can make it pop out thanks to having total control of the camera. Make the camera have complex animation like more cinematographic stuff. Decide the placement of the camera. Also this. Yeah, by the way, these two is not like or you make a game like this or you make a game like this. It can happen that sometimes they fuse together to in certain scene. It happens in a lot of games. Tunnel vision. A problem that may occur is when the character is in a tight space, like caves or narrow passage. In that case, it's better to use rail camera. Or you go outside the boundaries and be sure that, like for example, I know I'm saying like for example, a lot of times, but it's just also to see if I understand it myself. It's not just a rail camera, okay? You can do a lot of stuff. So, let's put the camera here. If the camera is here, like outside the boundaries, you might want to use a shader to eliminate this wall from the visual. So basically, you're gonna see everything that is inside this place. Like if the character is here, you're gonna see it. Or also another possibility is not just the rail type of camera. Not saying that is useless, you can totally use it. I'm just giving other options. Or you can change the view from a third person view to a first person. Just saying. Never let the camera get out. Never let the character get out of the camera. Yeah, here I just drawn Joe Road. So basically, if the player is behind a wall, make his outline colorful to know where the character is. Or, as always, make the wall transparent, with a shader, as I was saying. Usually, you just usually use the shader in those cases, like to see the character through the wall. You can just have the name tag on top. Ignore the fact that I use the outline, or maybe you can make a combination of both, it's not illegal. Or you can change it into first person, like I was saying first here. You can go to narrow spaces and change to first person to better navigate them. Multiplayer cameras. Simply put, or you have a split screen like in Call of Duty games or party games, where everyone has their own corner, or you can have a camera that goes back, to have all the players inside the shot. Simply, simple as that. Nothing too much, nothing too little. So, next, we have the last of the three C's. That is part 3, by the way. So, god damn it again. Sorry, I gotta take another break. Okay, I'm back again. So let's keep going with the lecture. Yeah, lecture, sure, like I'm a professor. I'm just reviewing my notes. So let's proceed. Controls. Basically, it's also pretty important how your hand like structured for ergonomics. Like a lot of controller designer or handheld console keep in mind how the hand moves. First, we have primary control and primary response, that is usually the thumb. The thumb is flexible with reach, good for steering, and fast response. This is why a lot of commands are the most important ones are on the flat surface of the controller, so everywhere where the thumb can reach. Primary trigger and primary hold. The index is the primary trigger, primary hold, and secondary response. Index is strong and fast, used for response or hold moves. So, yeah, this is the index. uh, the middle finger is the secondary hold and the secondary trigger. Weak but usable for hold moves, decent reach. So yeah, this is basically a schema to understand how you should design your controller. Then there is the ring and a pinky that are the primary support as secondary support. Weak with poor reach, better for stabilization, poor strength, require hands support. So yeah, basically what you have to, how to say, focus the main action that you can perform should be able to be in reach of these two. Most importantly on the thumb. The most important commands should be reachable to the thumb. The secondary most important commands should be reachable to the index, and really the ones that you kinda gonna use really rarely, it's gonna be on the, how do I say, on the middle finger. Suggestion: keep the inputs inside in case of keyboards, keep the inputs or the command keys inside the QWERTY or ASWD zones, inside these keys, these letters that you have on the keyboard, I hope. Oh, this is my favorite. So, if you are developing a game for kids, keep the button press simple, no complex keys, combos, and no key commands. Too far to each other. So basically, most of the stuff, remember to keep it on the colorful buttons that you have on the controller. So A, B, X, Y, or what was it? X, X, like cross, circle, square, and triangle. These are the ones that you design for kids. No complex combo to achieve stuff. So no Street Fighting game for them, no Street Fighter. So in other case, it's in case of competitive games like MOBA, MOBA, and FPS, allow the player to customize the controls. Another one is, even if the game is packed with combos like Street Fighter, find a way to keep the game accessible to newbies, because of course everyone should start from somewhere. So keep the combo, some of the combos, keep them easier, not just only crazy combos for special attack. At least give not so special attack, some easier combo. That's it. Yeah, this repetition of this. If it's possible, allow the players to map key controls. Don't use inverted axes as default, only as an option, because some games are more immersive if they have inverted axes. What are these games? Usually flying simulators, and that's it, only them. Never have buttons do nothing. It's pretty off-putting if one of the buttons is doesn't do anything. You want to every single one of the controllers. This advice is especially pointed to controllers, not keyboards, because keyboard it has the full alphabet and other buttons, so it's not. But if you play on controller, remember to play a negative response sound or effect animation when you click how do I say, a button that for now does nothing. So like if you play what can I say? If you play like a triangle, I don't know. Uh, if it's not available that option now, you gonna make the character go no 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 triangle no no. Make clear that the button is inactive. You probably have to show it in some way on the screen. Kinda, but I don't know. Or I don't know. Make clear that the button is inactive. Yeah, I think that's it. You have to make it understand in some way, or in a HUD, or with a negative response and animation sound effect. Assign an already existing action until the player finds the power up. So like if you use a square to attack and triangle for now does nothing, also use triangle to do something. This maybe the same attack until you find the power up that allows you to unlock the triangle for something else. That's the idea. Don't allow to perform an action until it's shown on screen. Don't allow to perform the action. Ah, yeah, in some games, well, I mean, no, just a second. Some games use, let's take Bloodborne. Because you cannot jump in Bloodborne, the X button or yeah, sorry, it's a Sony exclusive, so yeah. The X button is just useful for interaction, and you cannot just use it always. You just have to wait until you can interact with something, being an NPC or an object. One of the things is try to make the action happen faster when the button is pressed. Keep long animation for finishers. I don't think finishers. I hope it's like this. Or charge attacks. Usually, I know that maybe you want to make something fancy for the light attack, but the light attack should even be half second, 12 frames out of 24, like super fast, pam, like this. Of course, if you do charge attacks or finisher, you can go a bit more fancy with it. Next one, UI, HUD, and icon design. A good user experience should provide feedback to the player. There are a few ways to do it. Sound, animation, color change, text change, particle effects, and haptics. Basically the technology inside the controller. He said UI, but I think UI is more like a user interface. The user experience kinda has everything about the experience itself, so also haptics and sound. Animation, color, text, particle effect, I think those are more on screen related, so only on visual. So I think visual is more like UA stuff, user interface, like the interface of the player with the screen. So, types of UI designers. Skeuomorphic is the imitation of a real-life interface used, for example, in control panels, like in some old Fallout games, old camera, like for horror games, or advanced sci-fi helmets. That's it, basically. So, I mean, in case of horror games, you can put the view from a camera and put all the rec and the red dot and the time of the recording, blah, blah. You can do that. That's called the skeuomorphic design. Maybe you can make the life bar the battery. If the battery goes out, you're dead. Just an idea. Or I remember some of the older Fallout series has like a control panel, I think. Or even in I don't know. Maybe it was also Beyond Good and Evil that had some like of control panel. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure. Then there is the diegetic. The diegetic are interface that only makes sense in the game universe, like a magical wheel inside a magic ball to upgrade your stats, or also like the HP that is inside is on the back of Isaac in Dead Space. That was kind of a cool design because, of course, also be pretty, how do I say, aware that you have in this case have to give a lot of contrast inside the game if you want like to emphasize that within the game or the character the diegetic hood is visible. Like in case of the HP for Isaac, you can see that it is a glowing red that goes pretty contrast with the darker tones of the game, and then it transforms into a red tone, but it's still glowing, so it's still like a contrast with the darkness of the game. This is the basic idea. And another thing, in case you guys you like go on a brighter surface or brighter zone, it kinda doesn't matter anymore because theoretically the player has already adapted its eyes to the back of Isaac to know that is the life counter. Just saying. But it's also of course because it's glowing, so it's still kinda visible. But in general the game is kinda dark, so yeah, that's it. Symbolic interfaces that are more abstracted and are separated from the game world logic, like the skill tree in games like The Witcher 3 and Infamous Second Son. So basically, they are just abstract. The main character doesn't know about that. It's just for a cool factor. I mean, like in Persona 3, when you check out the menu for the personas, I don't know if the guy, the hero, knows about that kind of thing that he can do. I don't know, but yeah, it is just the cool UI. This one that you can go fancy without. I don't know. Oh, sorry, I'm back. Okay, thank you. So, or you can go no UI. The only way to make the player understand is paying close attention to animations and sound. This is more for a cinematography effect, like if you want to make something more realistic or something like for hardcore players, like they have to pay close attention to how the character is moving or feeling to understand his status, that if he is like poisoned or has low HP. This usually kind of requires the artist team to work a lot more because they have to give an animation for every status. So yeah, I mean it's not really that bad theoretically. Like if every enemy is like humanoid, like the game is full of humanoid looking character, so with four limbs, a head, theoretically you can export the animation to every single one of them and it becomes really really easy. But it kind of breaks the immersion knowing that every character has the same animation, so just be careful. Yeah, just be careful. I don't know. Okay, good UI that is memorable will help players that are coming back from long pauses. Alien Ring, this one is an example. Elden Ring kinda has a well, we can just say the entire of Dark Souls series plus Elden Ring has kind of a similar hood, like hood design, and because of that it become kind of memorable from long time players. So they kind of can hop on the game again after I don't know weeks of not playing, and so they will be they are able to tell okay this is the HP bar, the
bottom left is the active object that I can use, so the sword, the shield, the Estus flask, and so on and so forth. Accessibility. This one was kind of an adventure for me. In fact, I added some stuff, some personal notes that I took from a little journey of mine. So accessibility, color blindness, you can add color blindness correction, text size and font adjustment, subtitles, and blindness option for blind gamers. So the color blindness correction, this one is one of the experiments that I've done in the past for one of my friends, and it's kind of easy to set up. It's not so hard. I think it is just a quick tutorial or just a quick guide that you can check. And also you have to download the three type of images for the three type of color blindness. Maybe they are for, I don't remember. Then there is the text size or font adjustment. This one is kind of for me that I have problem reading. So I mean, you can go fancy with your fonts, but if your fonts are kind of hard to read for some people like me, it's better to give the option to change the font to something else, like maybe a system font, just that. Also, of course, change the size. Blindless subtitles. This is in case, of course, of deaf people that cannot hear most of the stuff. But if you are like a JRPG maker, like making, you are already making subtitles for the game because we cannot afford the voice actors, so it's already in the game basically. And then there was blindness. Blindness was one of the hardest for me to understand how to make it work. I think if you want to make like a blindness option, you kind of have to think about it at the beginning of the game design stuff. Like somehow integrate the normal gameplay to the blindness is not so hard. Some stuff is kinda uh, how do I say okay to make. It's kinda not so difficult, but some other stuff is kinda requiring a lot of tinkering. Like the first example, use a special menu for navigation. What a lot of games or mods do is to add object navigation to the game. By the way, these are copy and paste from the message that the guys from the Games for Blindness like respond to my question. So these are copy and paste of the response. Use a special menu for navigation. What a lot of games or mods do is add object navigation into the game. This is a special menu where you can access with page up and down combined with other keys. It usually has categories like doors, NPC, etc. And you can then use a command to navigate to the object you want. This one, for example, is kind of a must to do already at the beginning of the game design document or to like invent something that to make this one easier. It's oh sorry. It's ideal to announce what is happening on the screen. For example, if it's a turn-based game, Goblin 3 hit Paul in the leg with the rusty dagger. Paul took 13 damage. Think of it like console log speaking. If you were into programming, you will usually like make a test with the console logs. So yeah, console log. I don't. So basically, you send the information to console to be sure that okay, it's working as intended. It's basically putting the output of the code in a human reading way. So it's not that hard. This adding a slider to decide how fast the text to speech will be. A lot of stuff for blind people is text to speech based. So usually they play like a lot of adventure game that are like choose your direction or adventure like choices. Some of these games are on phones, so you basically just have to tap or say which one you choose. That is usually the games that are more accessible to them. Oh God, I'm I'm dying. I think I have a flu. And in other case, if you kind of want to give an exploration, add wall tones, which are basically sound cues that tell you where is the wall versus the opening. So, but just by that, my idea is to kind of have a grid, grid, kind of have a grid underneath the place. Like every level, we have a grid underneath. By that grid, I can give two options to play with blindness, being or you go auto navigate, or you can try and go places yourself if you can do it. It's better to give more option than less. This is the idea. Or you go with the auto navigation to someone or an enemy, or you try to explore it yourself. See if you have a good memory, or I don't know. Because I don't have any blind people in my life, I kind of struggle to be sure of this. What do I say? Um, like, what do I say? I struggle to know if how to implement this in a correct way. So I will probably um, catch up. Catch up is not the word. Um, I will probably contact the server again to ask for question. And what I hope is not being too obnoxious with it, I guess. How to create an UI? Usually, this is also a suggestion for web developers if you still exist. If you're not, if you didn't switch to vibe coding stuff, is to create a wireframe that is basically boxes where you decide where stuff is gonna be. So sketch how the UI should look. A lot of like what I am also gonna do is like avoiding creating perfect art. I'm gonna use what is called programmer art to just the prototype. You don't want to go too fancy, and this also opens the brackets for the AI discourse about placeholders, where I'm totally against because the idea of a prototype is to just be a prototype. Usually it's gray and it's bad, but it's good so you know where the changes must be made. That's the idea of a prototype. It doesn't have to look good at all, and you kind of, you know, usually AI textures on, I don't know, even models are kind of, how do I say, already the finished product. They are finished. So when you put them in the game, you will highly probably forget about them, like in case of Expedition. I have a really complicated relationship with the Expedition team. I don't hate them because it was like what 2022 and everyone was using AI. So, but I cannot keep playing their game now that I know it. It's I can't. I wish I can, but I really can't. I don't think I can also play any newer games like at all. I'm still buying like old ass games. Playtest your UI. Usually the UI will not like be okay. This is the UI. We're gonna keep using it for the rest of the game because the user interface, where also it's not just the icons you see on a normal gameplay. The user, we are talking also about menus, about all screens, and so on and so on. So that is all we are talking about. And for each one of them, like I don't know, the home menu or the starting menu, where there are other options like continue or new game, you have to identify the issue. Sometimes the issue in the question is about, okay, do player understand what it's for? Yes, no, no. Then identify the issue, consider solution, execute the change, playtest the result, monitor the change, and repeat the play if the players still don't find it easier to understand. Okay. And this goes basically for all the screens, like the game screen itself, or the pause screen, the menu screen, and so on and so forth, because it must be easier to for the player to see and understand. It also applies the rule of the don't touch more than three buttons to reach what you want to reach in the menu, because if it's so, it's gonna be like problematic. It's gonna be too hard to find, basically. No. Common HUD elements. Sometimes you're gonna have the health bar, the lives, the target reticle, basically the one from shooting games, ammunition gauge, inventory, sorry, score experience, radar or map, context sensitive prompt, basically the icon that appears on top of the object or NPC to interact with, the treasure on the right that says it all. Other UHD elements are money counter, timer, and player name or portrait, etc. Then you're gonna decide if there is something particular in your game. Maybe it's something theme related. Theme. In case you really are a guy that wants to use a clean HUD design, like no elements on the screen apart from the game itself, you can use character to read things in the world. Oh my god, what happened here? Oh my god, I don't know. I'm scared. Um, like you can have a companion that kind of guides you through some stuff to the world, like will interact with some stuff for the world for you. And it's some kind of teamwork. You also want to use effects to emphasize the status, like getting hurt, poison, or buffed. Use glow or other attention effect. What he calls it is like the Scooby-Doo effect, where some objects are kind of more emphasized than others to make the player understand that it's interactable, because there will be no food elements on the screen, so you want to do the best to get the attention of the player on that particular thing. Use character or clear parts to clear paths. Sorry, paths to help navigate the world. So again, the the main road that the player should follow in case you don't have a any huge HUD elements must be really in contrast with everything else. Like if the forest is green, don't make like lighter green, make it yellow or other material, but be sure that it's pretty in contrast with everything else. The best idea should be like using a temporary HUD that appears and disappears. Like if you don't use anything on the inventory, or I don't know, if you don't take damage, it's better to just hide temporarily the HUD to have a better view of the game. Then, if something happens, you take damage or you use an object, the HUD will reappear basically. I don't know how much like I mean it's a good idea, but maybe you want an what do I say, key control to make it pop and disappear. So you have control when the HUD appears and disappears. That's the idea. Like Elden Ring, I think it has the same thing. That's why I use the HUD element of Elden Ring right here. But let's move on, okay? Okay, this here the drawings kinda started to degrade. So, iconography. Pick the right image for your icon. Make sure the image you use is current and accurate. Color code your icons. If color is not enough, use shapes and differentiator, I guess. Try to avoid the text in your icons. This makes sense because
Now, listen up. Putting text in your icons is kind of a bad idea depending how huge is your icon. But usually icons are made to be small, and having text on top of an existing image is kinda unreadable. I know because I tried it, so it's not worth it sometimes. At least you want to like do an abbreviation of the word, like instead of attack, you're gonna just write I, A, T, and K to abbreviate attack. If color is try to avoid text. Okay, never combine several crucial. Never combine several visual elements such as text and character and logos. If you're gonna use text, make it legible. Surround your icon with a strong black or white outline to make it pop. So yeah, basically give an outline in case you're seeing like it's not popping enough. Really you should try to at least use the main colors of the game to make it pop out because I don't know how much nice it will be to see a white outline and then a black outline on top of that. It will be kinda childish or a sticker look. And if you are gonna go with that, no problem. But it depends a lot of what game I'm trying to make. Make sure the icon doesn't look identical to each other. Take inspiration from other game icons or other icons from different media. Ah, this reminds me. I saw a site a long time ago where, just a second. I saw a site long time ago where it has like a catalog of, how to say, hoods from different games. And it's kind of nice to find it again. For no, I don't want your eye shit. Hood elements, games. No, I'm in the catalog. Let's see. Catalog. Oh damn. Game you okay, should be this one. Scream and videos, like elements, games, themes, horror. Alright, I think I have it. Like a plague. Oh, alright. Just really quickly, I'm gonna show you the site because it's pretty damn useful, this site. So, screencast. Okay, I'm gonna really quickly show you. It's called Game UI Database, and also I'm gonna put it on Art Utility because it's gonna be useful. Maybe not with this one, but okay. Like for example, I took the Plug Retail Requiem, and you can go through every HUD element that is in the game to take inspiration or I don't know, anything I guess. Look how many images there are. It's impressive. Like everything that you can imagine inside. Like let's take my favorite game right here. Look at this. Look at this. Come on. Or also, of course, because I know a lot of people are like Persona fans and won't stop bragging about how Persona has the best UI and UX. Like, look at this, guys, incredible. Like this is the cutscene. Okay. There is a lot of to take inspiration from, like the dialogue choices, the dialogue speech. Like, you shout out to these guys because they're really doing an amazing job. Please, please. Ah, yeah, of course we got. I don't know. Oh yeah, nice. It also has some videos for examples like loading screen. So you cannot really go wrong. You can take a lot of inspiration from this site. So yeah, just gonna leave it in case you will ever find this live. Write it down, write it down. Yeah. Again, this site is called Game UI Database. Oh, there is a Bible? What do you mean there is a Bible? I should not buy it, but damn, I want to buy it. I don't have the money. I don't have the money, I don't need it, but damn if it's good. I'm never gonna tell you if I'm gonna buy this one. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna just be the only one knowing it. So let's move on. Make sure, okay, make sure the icon doesn't look identical to each other. Take inspiration from other game. If a player has an interaction with an icon, make it do something like vibrate, become bigger, change color, to at least know that the icon is touchable or interactable. The most important icon should be the biggest in the hierarchy because you need a hierarchy of stuff. The hugest is the icon, the most important it is. The smallest, then the less important it is. It's always good to give a hierarchy, also in art, to guide the eye. It's mostly to guide the eye. If you're doing a visual thing, usually what you're trying to do is guide the eye to a certain point, or at least make understand the eye what is most important in an image. Make the most used icon the easiest to access. My God, okay. Make the icon a little sticky so the cursor. Okay, this is probably most about games that are mouse related, where you kinda to make something happen, you kinda go with the mouse there on the icon, touch it, and like Baldur's Gate or any Civilization game, Frostpunk, these games. Quick time event that I'm not really a fan of, or maybe yes, I don't know my opinion on quick time events. I don't think, or I don't know. I wish to add some kind of gaming stuff like quick time events on my game, of course. I will try to not overscope, to be honest, so I will avoid the quick time events also if it's about the cinematic, because there is a difference, like quick time events for gameplay related stuff and for the cinematic effect. The cinematic effect, you will need an entire team of animators. I'm just one person, I'm not gonna do this, so let's move on. Never use a QTE for something players can do it for themselves in the game. So if you need to punch a guy, you don't, I don't know, at least isn't like a cinematic, you don't want to use QTE to punch a guy if you can already do it, or no. Timing is everything. Don't string them out for too long, like don't make a 10 minutes of QTE, I don't know. Don't use unfair QTEs. Keep the QTEs inside a small pair of controls that also it's already know. Like if you're gonna do a QTE, don't like troll the player and make like the next button be like on the other side of the controller or maybe on the other side of the keyboard. Keep the QTE must be easy to see. So again, contrast and make it then pop. Button mashing can simulate struggle. So if you're gonna do like ta 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 ta, it's a good simulation of struggle. I think God of War does this a lot. It can be used for decision making. So basically, the Telltale, The Last of Us. I hope I said the right name, Telltale. No. And where do you want to stick the hoods? Avoid the center, of course. The upper left is usually for the health and score. Health and score, yeah, health or score, I would say. You can use the bottom of the screen too, but be aware of the clipping of some monitors. Yeah, so as he says, it can happen that different monitors have different anchor, I will say. So be pretty aware to use anchor and other how do I say um, other I don't know because in CSS and web developing it's kinda I kinda got how do I say it was easier. I don't know if it's the same for the icons in games, but to make kinda the size of icons or their position related to the place on the screen or how the size of the screen. I don't know how to explain it better than this. Um, don't overcrowd the screen with too much HUD elements, so keep it compact, or at least make understand that there is a game, not just HUD elements. Some HUD elements can open on their windows, so be pretty careful with them, I guess. And now there are different types of screen. There is the starting screen, treat it like a movie poster, or it can be enigmatic or even a logo of the game. An important rule is that you should never have to press a button more than 3 times to reach any game screen. So, to explain this one a little better, with the starting screen we also talking about the main menu screen. To access like an accessibility feature, you should not like press more than 3 things. Like, okay, you are on the main menu, you have a new game, continue, and loading, and blah blah blah. If you want to, I don't know, change it from normal settings to blind options, you will have to be like pam pam pam, not more than that. 3 times, 3 screens you have to navigate, and that's it. Like there is the main screen, there is the option screen, and then there is the accessibility features. That's it, only 3 screens to arrive at that, not more than that. That's the idea. Pause screen should contain exit game, credit, difficult setting. Should, I will say, it's not mandatory to have them. Exit game, credits, difficult setting, controller screen, sound volume, music volume, save and load game, cheat codes, calibration tools, and bonus material. As I'm saying, these are not mandatory. You can personalize the game how much you want, just don't exaggerate and don't cut out stuff. I don't know. Another one is the slot save file screen, and it should contain the player portrait, the player name file, the percentage of completion, the location they are now, and the button to exit the screen, basically. Autosave is pretty useful to help the player just display an icon when it happens, so on the bottom right usually. I will say that the bottom right should be like the zone where, how do I say, like stuff appear and disappear. Like if you are autosaving, the autosave should appear. If like you've done something that changed the world, make it known on the bottom right of the screen. Just ideas, just saying. The loading screen doesn't have just to be a black screen. And remember that something must be animated inside the loading screen to make the player know that anything has crashed. So the game is still working and nothing has crashed. Here's some ideas for loading screen. Show a concept art, ask trivial questions, have a playable minigame, display the game map, display a character bio, provide tips or gameplay or controls, provide game recaps, briefing of the next mission, endless minigame, beautiful shots of the game, like again in Elden Ring, manipulate the HUD of the game loading screen for fun. So if there is the loading button here, I can just draw it away, like punch it, I don't know, to make something while you're waiting the screen to load, the next level to load. The control skill basically display the controller and the map and what the sorry, basically display a big controller and map the what the buttons do. If possible, add the description when you select one of the buttons. So basically, you select this option to know what I don't know, light attack does, Light attack is a type of attack that it's kinda weak and will only affect certain enemies, blah blah blah, you know. There is also another one, the scoring stat screen should have score, time of completion, accuracy of shooting, enemies slain, money remaining collected or spent, number of lives, rating, objectives reached complete, screen secrets found, anything else that come in your mind. So you're gonna find this in I don't know, Devil May Cry. Um, what was who? I don't remember the name. Dang it. Also Armored Core. Yeah, and this got we got the lazy ones here. There is also a legal and copyright screen. You should establish your copyrights or give a warning like a risk of epileptic seizure of a particular particular imagery of your game. Basically, this one should be like when the game is loading at the beginning to always display it on screen, so you can avoid the legal repercussion, I will say. Also give credit where credit is due. I'm not gonna do that. Durge developer deserve no credits. The game was made by an elf. I don't know. Remember the game over screen. Also, that one is important. Remember to make the game over screen pretty quick, like just 1 second long, to help the player get back in the action faster as possible. Suggestion for fonts. Theme your game font, but don't exaggerate with the decoration. Acquire the license of a font if you didn't make it, or make it if you didn't make it. Okay, sorry, I cannot change. Oh yes, I can do if you didn't make it or it isn't free. Know the color, that you are using and their visibility. Pay attention how it behaves in different sizes. You can use more than one font for your game. Basically, you can use one more of your more fonts. Be pretty, like the most decorated one, the most beautiful one, or the most unique fonts that maybe you were the one making them. You probably should use them just for the hugest text, like the titles, I don't know, the title of the next level, like something that is pretty large on screen. For body text like dialogue speech, you should use something a lot simpler and visible. Don't risk having a decorated font on smaller size text because it will be unreadable. That's it. Level 9. Oh god, my voice. We have level 10 too, right? Of course we have level 10, we don't. It was yesterday. Oh, I'm gonna just do a one shot of a live, so everything is inside. Level design, common levels. These are like trope levels that you probably see in every game. There is the outer space, the Fahrenheit level, the dungeon cave tomb, the gritty urban, the space station, the factory, the jungle, the spooky haunted house, and the graveyard. The pirate level, these dudes are pretty nice, I like the captain. The sewers, and there is the naming a level. Usually there is like the functional way of naming a level, like a number system, like word 1 of 1. There is the descriptive, like kind of like a title, a nasty surprise, on the road again, or dead from above. You can just say the location straight up, like sewers, science lab, police station. Or a funny name, like a name created by playing with words, example like Aqua Peak, Red Grave, or Storm High. Yeah. Learn from Disneyland. Secretly guide the player towards a destination. So you have to make it look like it's a intricate place, but remember to always make the main road know that it's the main road. Not like maybe with the size, making the main road huger than other roads. So when the player goes back there, it's like, ah, okay, this was the main road. What else? Yeah, basically what he says is really about learn a lot about Disneyland because Disneyland has like one of the best designs to lead customers to all the attractions until the end of the, how do I say, uh, until the end of their journey. I don't know, the end of the. Okay, let's just keep. I think I understand. By the way. Mapping the world. Find a nice way to make the player understand how far they come and maybe what awaits for them later. I think it's nice. This will like build up excitement. Like, oh, the next is an Italian level. Oh, the next is an Egyptian level. Oh, the third level is pretty evil, like hell level. I don't know. But it's nice. Also, you don't have to just do this. You may have other ways to do it. I don't know, like. Okay, to be honest, I don't see other ways to do it. I have little to no imagination right now. My my brain is kinda cooked for the entire week. Foreshadowing. A nice thing to do in a game is foreshadowing what the player is gonna do or encounter. By doing so, the player will build up potential for the next event. So yeah, so even something simple like I don't know, one of the minions of the bad guy running away saying don't go there, there is the boss," or maybe even a poster where where it says circus is in the city, like for an entire level, then you finally enter the circus, kinda something like that. Goal setting. Your game can have one or more of these objectives, or maybe even like a level of your game should have one of these objectives. Escape/survive, explore, educate, or provide morals. Yeah, these four are the main objective of your game, and you can choose to do one or multiple of these. Reuse as much as you can. Being it as asset or code script, try to have a modular way of thinking. Not only it will be extremely useful for the game you're currently making, but it will be also useful for future games. True, try to make everything modular. A lot of studios, like again, yes, From Software, yeah, has a lot of assets that they reuse kinda often. There is like enemies asset. I remember like enemy from Dark Souls 1 still being used in Elden Ring, like those strange frog guys that spits black bale. I don't know. This section is easier if you are Dungeon Master. Take a pen and paper, because it's time to draw the level using the greatest shapes of all time, islands and alleys. So. You can design a level like with alleys, so probably something that I'm gonna do to at least have a scripted game. Basically, you're gonna use a circle and alleys as a shape to make a map, and yeah, this one is the first. Like, I mean, as I said, if you're a dungeon master, you already know about this, how to make maps like this to make your player go on places that you expect them to go. This is what I used to do as a dungeon master. But there is also the kinda open worldish map, not really open worldish, but kinda like the place is kinda like an island. You can explore the places. Maybe some places are like closed, like maybe this one is closed until you complete these three main objectives. Then you go here, you beat the boss, and you can go here for the treasure. Just saying, as an example, of course. I think you get it. Also remember landmarks. Players like the player starting point. With landmarks, I mean like these icons right here. If you're designing a level with a map, like design the map with icons to make pretty understandable what that place is gonna be like. like the player starting point. Maybe the player will start like here, on, I don't know, the enemy starting location, door, teleporters gate, puzzle mechanics, treasure chest or power up, traps and areas of effect, other significant landmarks, enemy spawns, location, detection, aggro radius, collectible that lead player through the level, secret entrance, breakable wall or other secret locations, obstacle like barriers, walls, tree and tombstone, and finally clearly marked terrain like cursed earth, swamp water, slippery ice or hot lava. Yeah, this is just the list of icons of landmarks that you should use usually. Also, you can use other landmarks, as I said, if your game have a particular thing to it. Oh god, save this shit. So, draw the map on a paper with a small square. This is an advice. This is an advice. Draw the map on a paper with small squares. As a reference, the character occupies one block. Try to give the character a 3 by 3 range of space around him so he can move. So basically, the idea of using grid for your games also comes useful here, like for designing the map with where are the buildings, where are the player, where are the stuff, where is the stuff, sorry. Yeah, walking is not gameplay, alright, yeah, because walking is walking, it does not provide any challenge technically, so making a game around walking, yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, there is the Flinch. How was the name? The Last Day of Flinch. Flinch. I don't remember the name of the game. It's kind of a walking simulator, but I mean, it still has a story, a lot of stuff. It just doesn't have much of a gameplay. This is one of the games that I categorize on the most cinematic side. If you kind of miss this one, I have like the vision of games as pure games on the left side and pure cinematic on the right side. Basically, it depends which one. Like the more cinematic you go, the more the story must be good, and the more it must be full of meaning and stuff, meaning and such, theme and such. And the most left you go, the most is just pure gameplay, like Tetris, like pure adrenaline, pure. You stay there for just relaxing. Basically, you want to turn off your brain. You don't want to have anything to do with a story. You just want to play. That's it. And you can make your game being in one of the two, but remember to only to remember that what medium you are working with. So usually you at least have to give one game loop aspect and a challenge. So respect at least this one. So this is why working games are kind of fraud up, are kind of judged a little because respect the medium that it's a game. So add the gamey stuff, a gameplay. That's the reason why working is not always considered gameplay. Oh god. Choose a primary action to do in your game. You can shoot, drop these. Basically, you have to choose one main action, usually three. You can also have, or maybe two, three or two main action that you're gonna do in a game. Like shooting, dropping things in a hole, keeping the beat, directing rockets, solving puzzles, shooting and flying, sneaking and fighting, jumping, collecting, climbing, swinging, breaking, adding, creating, flying, flinging, I don't know, drawing, exploring. I think I tried to write flying. No, 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 no. Stop. So, flying. I think you can also use the rule of three here. So choose three primary action Just never use the rule of three while for activities in the game. Please never use them. Try to change to make the activities kind of unique and don't make the player do a thing an activity three times. Still looking at you, American Angry, by the way. And Alice in the Wonderland, I still pointing out to the game. Avoiding sorry, avoid straight routes. Add a small, sorry, grammatical errors. Add a small areas or paths to make the level interesting. Basically, and add add some juicy secrets in those. What the book was calling them, it was fingers. Like there is the main path, and then there are the fingers. At the end of each of these fingers, you should add usually a secret or something juicy to make you know the little deviation worth it. To avoid boredom, you can use a change of mode. So, like from a shooting game, you can switch to a puzzle or a mini game. Add beautiful shots to create that are great for screenshot, I don't know, like a moment where you finally see the horizon and the game was totally inside a cave until then. Make the familiar unfamiliar. So it may happen that, oh, your hometown is okay, then you return it after an adventure and it's burning. So yeah. Remember to change up the direction the player moves, up, down, left, right, in a spiral to make the game, at least not being a straight line. You should probably avoid doing that. Add verticality. Another rule is if the player look as if the player no, if it looks like as the player can go there, they should probably be able to go there. So if you make a rock that small that the player might think, okay, the character should be able to jump over it, you probably should make the rock a bit taller. Gray matters. This is also again for prototyping, guys. Prototyping is okay. It should kind of suck the prototype. It should be like totally gray without any soul. It is just a functionary thing. So first build the level using gray cubes. This is needed to understand the size and composition of the level. What to know? Want to know how long your game will be? Go from the beginning of the game to the end and touch every corner of the map, and ignoring both enemies and hazard. Done. The real time the level will take is twice the time of the thing. The real level will take twice the time. The real level will take twice the time. It may depend by the amount of activity of the level has. True, by the way. So basically, if you have a level like this, I'm sorry if the drawing sucks, but basically the main path is the one that leads you like quickly to the goal. You have to do the main path, but also check out every corner to see how the total time will be. Then you will multiply the time by 2, and that should be like the real time you will spend to that level. But of course, it depends on how many activities that the level will have. So if you have other activities than fighting, like you have collectibles or I don't know, little challenges, just maybe you should do like a multiply by 3 in that case if you have a lot of activities. Just saying. The most important place is the level playground. There you can do the followings: create ground angles to test basic movement, test geometry of buildings and objects, testing mechanics and hazard to determine distance, timing, and lethality, and test power-ups. Of course, also inside the playground there is the arena where you test the enemies. Usually the training level is to be left as the last one because you will want to finish every mechanic, and then by seeing the mechanic from a general perspective, you will be able to design also a tutorial level with everything that the player will need. Oh my god, my heart. I'm talking too much. So, the elements of combat, the art of combat. There are different ranges. There is the close range combat, the medium range combat, the long range combat, the area effect, and the distance effect. The difference between area of effect and distance of effect is the position of the one casting. Like the area of effect must be like something near you. Like if you cast like I don't know, storm of knives around you, that is area effect. If you just gonna shoot a bazooka, it's distance effect, so be careful. There are also the different attacks heights, yeah. There is the standing position, the low position, the high position, and the area position. The area position is probably when the player jumps and attack and make jump attacks. The attacks have this main characteristic. Okay, basically every attack you will code should have this characteristic inside a cheat sheet to take as an example. So there is the attack name, the control scheme, so which button is related to that attack, the range of attack, so if the range is close range, medium range, the speed of that attack, the direction of the attack, the damage, and the particularity of that attack, like bleeding, for example. Oh my god, I'm not used to talk this much. Screen, please come near me. So, so where we left, okay. In case of beat 'em up, in case of different type of attacks, basically, we have the strong and weak attacks. We have the punches that can be chained or uppercuts, kicks, so that can be sweeps or flying kicks, knock up a juggling launcher, I don't know, stealth kill, grapple, draw, slap, block and cancel, interrupt basically, or parry and counter, focus attack like armor break or taunt. These are usually the type of attacks that there are in a game. People want to play games that they make look cool. Oh, no, sorry, really, I'm talking so much that I cannot, my lungs are giving up. So, player wants to play games that make them look cool. I already done this course. Is basically players that, even though they are like playing a dark fantasy game like Elden Ring, you know that the Elden Ring is kind of a miserable experience at first. Like you play, you die a lot, you're gonna get angry. But at the end of, I don't know, Elden Ring, you become Elden Lord. So you go from nobody to a cool guy. So this is what most players want. They want to feel cool. Also for Armor Core. Like playing one of the Armor Core mechas is one of the best experiences. Really, like, yeah, it is like a fuck yeah experience. So you can understand. Maybe survival horror genre are like kinda exempt from this particular thing of make the player look cool until they get a gun or I don't know. Usually this kind of might be more action related or RPG related, because role playing, if you're role playing something, you don't want to role play the victim of a game. Okay, so we kinda almost finished. There is the combat movement. So the player should as always, have dodge and rolls, dashes, jump and bounces, and vault, that is basically moving through obstacles. These are kinda the usual movement that you see in combat. Status effect.
The most common ones are burning, poison, stunned, knockback, knockdown, grabbed, transformed, balance loss, and sliding skidding. But remember, always strive to enable the player even when you're disabling them. So let's take an example. In my game, let's say I'm gonna, I don't know, make the player unable to attack, but the player still can maybe cast a spell because they didn't mute him, or maybe the player still can move in a grid. So even though you're disabling them, try to at least give them other option. Don't just make the player stop. Like no option, you're like just like stuck there. That's the idea. Health, a suggestion is how many, basically to calculate the total initial health, you should like have how many hit points can the character take before dying, how much damage does the average attack from an enemy have. The starting life should be like the multiplication of those two. Like an example, the player like should like get 5 hits before dying. You multiply that by the average damage of an enemy, so 6, and you have the initial HP. There are different ways to represent health in a game. There is the numbers, there is the health bar, there is the icons, and the okay, this is kinda there are like companion characters, like for example in Crash Bandicoot, the mask character has leaves on its head, and when you take damage, one of the leaves like go missing, I would say. Or another way is like a character-based health, or most or more likely like if you go up here, we are talking like about what was the name? I don't remember anymore. Good. Uh, please. Okay. I think we're gonna talk. This one is more related to diegetic interfaces, where the HP bar is inside something inside the game. So like the back of Isaac thing. I don't know what it's called. So let's move on. Death. Let player understand that they have a health bar to protect. So usually, okay, it's pretty intuitive that a health bar is something to protect. Maybe someone that is just getting into the hobby of playing games doesn't know about that. So make always make stuff understandable. Display the health on the HUD. Allow players to regain life in some way. When you kill the player, do it quickly, so no longer animations or stuff like that, just quickly, because you always want the player to get back in the action. Same for the game over screens. When killing the player, make it as brutal as your rating allows. Also, we'll add as your genre, like remember to make it related to what kind of genre of game you're making. Your game is not a if your game is not a roguelike, don't punish the player by making him lose everything. If you have sorry, if you have them, make the player understand that the companions can die too. So the companions must not be exempt from dying in case of RPGs where you have a party. Also, you want to keep them playing. One way of doing this is like, as he suggests in the book, is like saying, don't give up, keep going, you can do it. So, to give some motivation to players. But of course, violence, like the entire chapter, is not the only thing that can give a conflict. So, there are other ways to give tension to a player. So, games based on timers, like you have 3 seconds left. There are games based on speed, so like driving games where you want to arrive as much like first. There are limited option games like chess basically. limited space game where you just maybe are in a room or I don't know, or maybe like some small spaces and you have to resolve a puzzle. There is precision game. Usually this game use ragdoll or use like some type of limitation in the hands or I don't know. You decide. Or maybe moral dilemmas. This is pretty seen in games that give you a choice. And cost. Maybe you cannot do something without paying up. So this guys was the 5 chapter that we covered this week. I hope I didn't miss anything important. My voice kinda wants to die. I talk too much. I'm not used to talk of giving a lecture. So yeah, I hope everything was pretty understandable. So this was the Saturday Live. I just wanted to give a quick review of my notes in case my lives weren't clear enough. And that's it. We will see each other on Monday. Thank you for being here, and bye bye.